I've been very blessed and fortunate to grow up in an amazing neighborhood in suburban Philadelphia with my family, nuclear family of 4, white picket fence, so you can picture that. So growing up, it was like a perfect bubble. You know, I had the best high school experience, you know, amazing friends and everything. And what happened over this past year pretty much transcended anything I could ever imagine what unfolded. And it wasn't to say that I've never faced a challenge, but it was an unimaginable kind of experience. So I chose to go to UF my senior year, and someone who was super excited for me was my cousin Steven. And he was from Miami, and I have various family down in Florida. So he would text me and call me, super excited about Gator football and, coming down, and he would come to visit me and all this stuff. So when I got to school, we had a conversation, and then about a month or so into school, I realized I hadn't heard from him, and he was a journalist in the Middle East. So he was always posting on Facebook. He was always, talking to me and sharing with me. He was an unbelievable writer. So I always looked up to him. He was 11 years older than me. And so I started to notice at that point that he wasn't posting, he wasn't writing. So I asked my mom what was going on. Nothing's wrong, don't worry about it, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm pretty intuitive, so I know when something's off. And so I asked his sister, Lauren, and she said, don't worry about it, like super nervously. And I started, going from thinking nothing of it to getting nervous. And I called my mom back. I said, I need you to tell me what happened. And she said that he was taken hostage by the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, also known as ISIS, and his name is Steven Sotloff, as you may recognize. So from that point on, it became just an everyday anxious worry kind of period, not knowing where he was. There was no communication for about 8 months. And then finally, in the springtime, we got a smuggled letter from him that he sent with the journalist who was released. And a line in there said at the bottom, please tell Emily I think of her. I hope she's enjoying UF and to follow her dreams. And from that, I'll never forget what he said. I'll never forget what he was writing about, and it was very hopeful. And from this, I kept thinking positively and just moving forward and trying not to worry and, succeed in college and keep going, but always think of him, because I know that's what he would want me to do. He loved the Miami Heat. He loved Family Guy. He was just an awesome person. So I knew that for all of us in his family to shut down, would not be the right thing to do. So going along with that, I found myself becoming exasperated, hearing, oh, I have nothing to wear to this party, and just complaints that, we as college students always make, but it shifted my perspective into thinking about, what is everyday life worth? We are so lucky to have the opportunities that we do. So I tried to go from that frustration into just keep smiling and being positive for his sake. So on August 19th of this year, a few months ago, ISIS sent a video to the US government with a video of James Foley being beheaded. And it was he and my cousin at the end in the orange jumpsuits and the masked man with the knife. And he said, Obama, if you do not stop the airstrikes on our people, we will keep striking the necks of your people. And he threatened to kill my cousin. So at that moment, there was no more sleeping, there was no more relaxing and hoping for the better. It was more of a nightmarish, not knowing what to do with yourself. So for 2 weeks, I just kept waiting for something, and my uncle, just thinking about him, wondering if he was ever going to see his son again, was the most horrifying thing in the world. So on September 2nd, I was sitting in class, and my phone starts blowing up with I love you, and I'm here for you, and all these things. And I just ran out of the class, and I saw his name pop up on a news update, and I didn't even read anything or whatever, and I just knew. And I called my mom, and it was just silence. And I'll never forget the friends who were there for me that day. They're sitting right over there. It just that makes the absolute world of difference. Sorry. In knowing that people do care, and turning a nightmare into not so much of one. So I'm going to read to you what I wrote for the memorial service. I went down to Miami, and my family was there. We went to his house, and my aunt asked me to say something. So for Steve, who could find a sliver of good in a world of darkness, make aware of the truth in a world of ignorance, and touch the lives of not only his family and friends, but move mountains for countless people across the same world, and by that his legacy will carry on. The world has lost an amazing man, my cousin Stephen. Not only was he a brilliant writer, but also a brilliant person. I will never forget our special time in Israel together, or in Miami, or how he never failed to send me every single article, or just to say, hey, cuz, and catch up with each other. Unfortunately, this world does not always treat people deservingly. Steve, it is beyond the walls of my mind how you could be taken so young or in this way, and I respect you for your dedication and passion and unrelenting drive to follow your dreams, and I will never ever forget that you told me to do the same. Grammy once told me that I have the same adventurous spirit like you, and I cannot be more proud to be called your cousin and to mirror your drive and of your accomplishments and what you contributed to the world. From this absolute nightmare, you've given me and many others who you cared about perspective about life and appreciating each day, and I thank you for that. Not only have you made a difference in my life, but you've left your footprint on the world. You will now be my special angel, and although our prayers could not bring you home, I promise they'll bring you to your place in heaven. I promise to live my life not in fear, but to the fullest, just like you wished for. I miss you, but will always remember you. I love you, and may you rest in eternal peace. And so from my cousin, I learned fearlessness. I learned courage, and how he went to the most dangerous places in the world when no one else would, to give innocent people a voice. And you can look up his articles and see just that truth and that dedication. And from all of this, I've learned an unbelievable amount of perspective, and that we only have a short amount of time on this earth, and you really don't know when it's going to be taken away from you. And the fact that another human being took his life away from him is not fair, and it's beyond words. You can't imagine, so I try not to think about what he must have been thinking and feeling, and the fact that we did get 2 letters from him was an unbelievable thing. It's unreal. So I just wanted to say that I hope that you all can take from this to lift each other up and to keep moving forward, and that your attitude really is everything. And even though life hands you obstacles and challenges, that doesn't mean that you can't get over them. And if you think about anything that may be happening to you or someone else, there always can be a worse situation, and you can find blessings in each situation. And so, I always try to live my life for other people and to do more than for myself, and just know that there's a greater purpose. And so finally, I want to read you an excerpt from his second letter. Everyone has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. Do what makes you happy, be where you're happy, and don't give a damn about what others say or think about it. Love and respect each other. Don't fight over nonsense. Life is too short. Surround yourselves with strong and wise people. Hug each other every day. Eat dinner together as a family. Please know I'm okay now. Live your lives to the fullest and fight to be happy. I love you, miss you, pray for you, and hope to see you soon. Stay positive and patient. God rewards the patient. If we're not together again, perhaps God will be merciful enough to reunite us in heaven. Thank you.